Welcome back, Nerevar. Come and make yourself comfortable, for today's sermon shall be merciless. Of course, I'm talking about the mongrel dogs of the Empire, so let's get on with it, shall we? Reason number 1, they are not Dunmer. The end. What? Yes, that really was all. What do you mean it was too short? They are mongrel dogs, for me's sake. Why do I have to? Ugh, all right, bring back the lights. What? What do you mean you forgot to mute the microphone? Ugh, just bring the lights back. I will have a word with Dunmer Resources after this. Ah, Nerevar, don't leave. That was a test for you. Of course, I have 10 proper reasons to hate mongrel dogs, so let's get to the details. But before that, let me tell you a little about their history. You see, mongrel dogs come in 2 dog species, Colovian and Nibenese. And for the sake of not spending more time than necessary talking about these pests, I'll do 5 reasons to hate each of them, for the total of 10. Let's talk about Colovians first. Number 1, perceived arrogance. Oh, the Colovians, with their stiff upper lips and their unwavering dedication to the old ways. How charming, isn't it? Their love for tradition and their knack for warfare might be admirable to some, but to those who prefer a more nuanced, culturally diverse approach, well, let's just say they might come off as a tad arrogant. Number 2, Xenophobia. Colovians are known for their warm welcomes and open-mindedness, said no one ever. They've mastered the art of suspicion, especially towards those who don't fit their narrow definition of one of us. If you're not Colovian enough for them, prepare for some raised eyebrows and perhaps a few whispered insults behind your back. Number 3, Imperial Supremacy. Oh, what a surprise. The Colovians at the top of the Imperial food chain. It's almost like they were born to rule, isn't it? Some might call it imperialism, but hey, let's not ruin their fun. After all, suppressing the rights and cultures of other provinces within the Mongrel Dog Empire is just a little hobby of theirs, nothing to get worked up about. Number 4, rigid traditionalism. Ah, tradition, the cornerstone of Colovian sub-society. Who needs progress when you can cling desperately to the past? Change, innovation. What a grand and intoxicating innocence, please. Those are just fancy words for trouble. If it ain't broke, or even if it is, don't fix it. That's the Colovian motto. Number 5, aggressive expansionism. And how to miss their insatiable thirst for expansion. Because why settle for what you have when you can have it all? Who cares about pesky things like borders or diplomatic relations? If they want it, they'll take it, by force if necessary, because nothing says neighborly love quite like aggressive expansionism. Now let me tell you about the Nibenese. Number 1, perceived decadence. Ah, the Nibenese, masters of extravagance and lavish living. Why settle for simplicity when you can drown in opulence? The Colovians might scoff at such decadence, but hey, someone has to keep the luxury industry thriving. Number 2, political intrigue. Nibenese politics, a labyrinth of deception and backstabbing. It's like a game of chess, except the pieces have a tendency to move on their own. Those poor souls who find themselves entangled in Nibenese political webs might start to wonder if honesty and straightforwardness are just quaint relics of a bygone era. Number 3, cultural appropriation. Why settle for one cultural identity when you can cherry-pick from the best of the bunch? Critics might raise an eyebrow or two at this blatant borrowing of traditions. Who cares if it leads to resentment and animosity from those whose cultures are being borrowed? Number 4, lack of unity. While the Colovians march in lockstep towards their militaristic goals, the Nibenese are busy squabbling amongst themselves. It's like herding cats, only with more political infighting and less adorable meowing. Number 5, magical manipulation. Oh, the Nibenese and their love affair with the mystical arts. Who needs logic and reason when you can just wave a wand and call it a day? Sure, some might view this emphasis on magic as manipulative or dangerous, but who am I to judge? Oh wait, I am a god. How dare you not allow a god to judge? But well, as long as they're not turning people into frogs, at least not without consent, what's the harm? And what I said first was actually the main point of this, but also Uriel Septim, of course. still is the major issue with the Mongrel Dog Empire and Tamriel as a whole. Everyone else are just petty villains in comparison. He was, is, and will be the one reason of all issues on Nirn, and you cannot change my mind about it, Nerevar. What do you mean this isn't enough? Since when have you been so much into mongrel dogs, Nerevar? Is there something going on that you haven't told me about? All right, don't look at me like that. I just have to point out more things about them, right? Goodness, you can be picky sometimes. Let's see. Well, don't pressure me, Nerevar. I'm not good at improvising, and you just derailed me from my perfectly structured sermon. How dare you pressure a god? Oh, yes, another reason to hate them is because of their royalty. Not just the Septims, that is. The Mongrel Dog Empire has been for longer. Don't give them so much credit. Morihatha Alessia, the very meaning of royalty gone wrong. Her reign was like a never-ending game of political whack-a-mole, with crises popping up faster than she could say, "I'm queen." From famine to rebellion, it seemed like there was always something to ruin her day. Belharza the Man-bull. Why settle for a mere minotaur when you can be a minotaur and a king? His reign was a spectacle of absurdity, fueled by rumors of his bizarre lineage and his capacity as bipedal cattle to rule. Clivia Tharn, the queen whose reign was a masterclass in manipulation and deceit. She treated the empire like her own personal chessboard, sacrificing pawns to maintain her grip on power, even to the point of dealing with Daedra and necromancy. It's like a mix of the worst a leader could be. 0 out of 10 wouldn't recommend. Gorieus. If there ever was a king who embodied the phrase all brawn and no brain, it was Gorieus. His idea of diplomacy was to swing a battle axe first and ask questions later, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake that would make even the most battle-hardened warrior wince. Reman Cyrodiil. Ah, of course, the conqueror with a crown as crooked as his morals. His insatiable appetite for expansion led to countless wars and untold suffering for the people of Cyrodiil. They say he built an empire, but at what cost? Certainly not in hugs and rainbows, that's for sure. And, all right, I admit I can't think of anyone else right now. Sermons require delicate planning, Nerevar. You can't just wing it. In any case, with this, you hopefully won't ask me again to talk about this distasteful topic that does not honor the 6th house and the tribe unmourned, so I expect you to raise your thumbs, subscribe to my sermons, and inscribe your thoughts in the parchment below for making me do this. I thank my loyal patrons for not making me talk about mongrel dogs again like you, Nerevar. Special thanks to the adoring fan Connor Runda, and immense gratitude to this realm's Sharmat Tonya Davis.